Welcome to Dreamy Tales, where the magic of stories meets the tranquility of sleep. I'm Sarah, and tonight, I invite you to let go of the day's worries and join me on a peaceful journey to the land of dreams. Find a comfortable spot, take a deep breath, and allow yourself to drift away as we explore a tale designed to soothe your mind and calm your soul. Relax, unwind, and let's begin. The Forest of Eternal Wishes. Long ago, nestled in a peaceful valley surrounded by towering mountains, there lay a village called Eldenbrook. The village had always been a tranquil place, where the laughter of children echoed through the meadows, and the river that ran along the edge of the village provided cool, clear water for all. Eldenbrook thrived on its harvests, golden wheat, ripe fruits, and vegetables that filled every home. But in recent years, the village had fallen into hardship. The crops had begun to fail, and the once abundant fields now yielded little. The river had dried up, and with it, the joy that had filled the hearts of Eldenbrook's people. Among the villagers was a young boy named Arlo. With his bright eyes and a heart full of dreams, Arlo was always looking for ways to help his neighbors. He would carry heavy baskets for the elderly, share his meals with those who had none, and spend his days listening to stories from his grandmother about the magic of the world beyond their village. Arlo's favorite story was about the Forest of Eternal Wishes, a place where the trees were said to whisper ancient secrets, and where a fountain in the heart of the forest could grant any wish that came from pure intentions. The legend told that the forest was hidden far beyond the hills, past places where no map could guide you. Only those who believed in the power of selfless wishes could find the way. Many had tried to seek the forest, but none had returned to tell the tale. Still, the story gave Arlo hope. More than anything, he wanted to bring joy and abundance back to his village, so that no one would go hungry again. One day, after seeing the worried faces of the villagers, Arlo made a decision. He would find the Forest of Eternal Wishes and make a wish for his village. Before dawn broke the next morning, Arlo packed a small satchel with some bread, cheese, a flask of water, and his grandmother's old compass. She had given it to him before she passed, telling him that it had always pointed toward home, no matter where he was. "Trust in your heart, and it will guide you where you need to go," she had said. With the compass in hand and his heart full of determination, Arlo set out on his journey. He walked for hours, through meadows that stretched as far as the eye could see, over hills that rolled like waves across the landscape, and through forests where the sunlight barely peeked through the thick canopy of leaves. As night fell, Arlo found a small clearing to rest. The stars above twinkled like diamonds against the dark sky, and for a moment, Arlo felt a flicker of doubt. What if the forest was just a story? What if he couldn't find it? But as he lay there, staring up at the vast sky, he remembered his grandmother's words, "Trust in your heart." He knew he had to keep going, not for himself, but for his village. The next morning, Arlo continued his journey. The compass pointed straight ahead, and though he didn't know where it was leading him, he followed its direction without question. By midday, Arlo found himself at the foot of a great hill, taller than any he had ever seen. At the top, shimmering like a mirage, was the edge of a forest unlike any he had known. The trees were tall, taller than the steeple of the village church, and their leaves sparkled in the sunlight, as if each one held a secret light of its own. Arlo's heart quickened. He had found it, the Forest of Eternal Wishes. He climbed the hill, his legs aching with the effort, but he didn't stop. As he reached the top, the forest welcomed him with a soft breeze that carried the scent of pine and fresh rain. The trees swayed gently, their branches making a sound that almost seemed like whispers, Arlo stepped into the forest, feeling as though he had entered a different world. The air was warmer here, and the light that filtered through the trees was softer, more golden. He followed a narrow path that wound deeper into the forest, the trees growing denser around him. As he walked, Arlo noticed small creatures darting between the trees, squirrels with shimmering fur, birds with feathers that glowed like embers in the fading light. They watched him as he passed, their eyes curious but kind, as though they knew the purpose of his journey. Hours passed, but Arlo felt no fatigue. The forest seemed to guide him, leading him ever closer to the heart of its magic. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he found himself standing before a small clearing. In the center of the clearing was a fountain, made of smooth, white stone that glowed softly in the twilight. The water that flowed from it sparkled with a silvery light, and around the fountain, the trees formed a perfect circle, their leaves shimmering in the golden dusk. Arlo approached the fountain, his heart pounding. This was it, the moment he had journeyed so far for. He knelt beside the fountain and gazed into its crystal-clear waters. The surface was so still that he could see his reflection perfectly, but there was something more, something magical in the way the water seemed to pulse with energy. Taking a deep breath, Arlo closed his eyes and whispered his wish. "I wish for my village to be filled with abundance. That no one may go hungry, and that we all may live in peace and happiness." As soon as the words left his lips, a gentle breeze stirred the trees around him, and the forest seemed to come alive. The water in the fountain shimmered brighter, and the trees whispered louder, as though they were speaking a language only the forest could understand. Arlo felt a warmth in his chest, as if the forest had accepted his wish, and for a moment, everything around him glowed with a soft, golden light. Then, just as quickly as it had begun, the light faded, and the forest returned to its quiet, peaceful state. Arlo opened his eyes and smiled, knowing that his wish had been heard. With a heart full of hope, Arlo began his journey back to the village. The path seemed shorter now, as though the forest was guiding him home. When he finally arrived at Elden Brook, something miraculous had happened. The fields, which had been barren for so long, were now lush and green, filled with crops that swayed gently in the wind. The river that had dried up was flowing once more, its water clear and sparkling in the sunlight. The villagers, who had been so worried and tired, were now smiling and laughing as they harvested the abundance around them. Arlo's wish had come true. But he never told anyone about his journey to the Forest of Eternal Wishes. He simply smiled and said that sometimes, when you wish for the good of others, the world finds a way to make it happen. And so, the village of Elden Brook thrived, with peace and happiness growing stronger with each passing season. The legend of the Forest of Eternal Wishes remained just that, a legend. But Arlo knew the truth, that the magic of the forest was real, and that wishes made with kindness and love had the power to change the world forever.